This week on Cafe Racing, a small San Fran builder is forced to think big in more ways than one.
Olaf's like Shaquille O'Neal on a cafe bike. Holy smokes.
Hope you know what you're doing, buddy. Once they cut the tank, there's no going back on this one.
Cutting on a beloved Moto Guzzi has tensions high on this high-speed, high-pressure push to do the ton. 2,500 miles to the east is another garage builder thinking big. Classified Moto goes rogue with a high-profile build for actress Katie Sackhoff.
I will make this bike my bitch. The bike that John picked is an old dirt bike.
It's not a cafe racer, but it's pretty sweet. You just have to have a vision.
He literally went in his backyard and was like, that'll do.
Grey Dog Moto consists of about 150 square feet, you know, and my dog is the CEO of the company, you know, Berlin. My son Liam is actually the foreman, and my wife is the one that brings hot meals out, you know, she's catering. I love it because it's small, it's a good workspace for myself, but you're also really close to the project, not only physically, but you're mentally, you can't get away from it. Project bike is a 1975 Moto Guzzi 850 T3. It's a California model, so it has floorboards on it. It's got a heel-toe shifter. It's got these large kind of bikini bars. You know, these California cops were driving.
Used by the LAPD in the late 60s, Moto Guzzi's signature engine, the horizontally mounted V-twin, helped the Italian manufacturer stand out. Eventually, Guzzi was overshadowed by the racing successes of fellow Italian company, Ducati, leaving Moto Guzzi's unique sound and styling to be appreciated by a minority of motorcycle enthusiasts.
I hear that? You hear it? I hear it already. It's the Guzzi purists. They're whining. Don't customize the Guzzi California. It's perfect already.
Plan of attack for the bike is to strip all that needless metal off of it and bring it down to a real minimal, high-performance monster.
I really like the look of the Guzzis. The only drawback, they're not really fast bikes, the older ones.
You know, they're kind of heavy. They're not really fast.
It is such a cruiser, and to turn into a cafe bike, you know, it's like turning a Goldwing into a cafe bike. It's a big machine.
Let's get this thing chopped up.
As the Moto Guzzi is getting prepped for the beginnings of a full-blown cafe racer makeover, Patrick has a big surprise for the even bigger client who owns the bike.
Now that's a big motorcycle rider, not the kind of guy cafe racers are made for. Building a cafe to fit this guy, that's gonna be a challenge.
Olaf.
Hey, buddy.
Good to see you. I don't know how this is gonna work, but we're gonna make it work for you.
So look at me, 6'3", long arms, long legs. I'm too big for the bike, so I needed to have it reconfigured for myself.
Yeah, you must be pretty tight on it right now. Wow, wow. Okay, you are a big, tall guy. Olaf's like Shaquille O'Neal on a cafe bike. That's a tall order, you know, pun intended. So what we've come up with, I think will work pretty nice. We are gonna give you some nice room here within this tank after we modify it with get your knees to get tucked in a bit.
Beautiful.
We're going to then take off your controls plus this floorboard.
I don't like floorboards. I don't like shifting I like being on pegs. That's the way that I ride.
Your feet are now going to be moving back right here. This is going to free up all this space here. What do you think? Mm-hmm. All right, we're going to cut this tank up, and you're going to witness it. Tony here is going to do it for us, and he's our man in charge.
Good, let's do it.
Let's get to it. Tony Parker is just an incredible metal fabricator. We've worked on a couple other projects together already.
Hope you know what you're doing, buddy.
Well, we'll find out
Yeah,
in about 2 seconds.
let's do it.
We could have just bought a tank. We could have just bought a tank and used a nice metal fabricator. We decided not to do that. We decided to keep the components on the motorcycle as stock as possible, meaning that I just wanted to use a piece of the tank.
Once they cut the tank, it's like, there's no going back on this one.
For all the purists that watch that, I think you're gonna go, you know, just have a meltdown, because he was doing it all with freehand after something I just drew out.
Cut the Moto Guzzi. Don't cut the logo.
Because like, what am I even getting into right now? Oh my goodness.
I actually told him to take the badges off of it, and I don't know if he didn't hear me. I wanted to give those back to Olaf as a little present of what his bike used to look like. That's not happening now.
Look at this guy, once he gets going, he's on a mission.
Olaf, I owe you some badges if you want.
You're gonna give it back to me now?
An Moto Guzzi.
Yeah.
That's the Moto Guzzi now. Look at that. That's your knee right there. That's where your knee goes.
Def, man.
Good job. Beautiful work free-forming that.
Feeling more at ease, Olaf leaves his precious Moto Guzzi tank with Tony to finish the fabrication, while Patrick takes the rest of the bike back home to start the modification.
Trying to fit his body and get the ergonomics of this motorcycle correct is very difficult. So I gave John a call, who's been a long-time friend.
I'll start up here.
Start up there, I'll start here.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm amazed at what he's able to do in that space. He's super organized. He stays on top of it. I give him props for being tidy and efficient in his shop space. But there's not a lot of room. Pardon me.
This is going to be fun for a cafe racer because it doesn't need all this stuff on it. Gone! Nice.
Jeez, these weigh a ton.
Holy smokes. You know what this is? This is 20 horsepower right here. This particular motorcycle, yeah, you're dealing with about 50 horsepower. Well, we've shed about 100 pounds off this bike. 100 pounds of metal and scrap and fender waste and wiring and lights and big headlights and all this stuff that is unnecessary for a cafe bike. Got a nice little collection of parts going over here, I see.
We've got the frame and we've got the engine. Other than that, what's going to be the same? I have no idea. I'm totally in the dark on it.
Notice how clean we've kept things. This is nice.
I was in advertising for 11 years, so I had a lot of time to love it and hate it. And around the end there, I was really not loving it. So I got laid off. I think they laid off 5% of their staff. I just knew I wasn't going back to advertising.
John originally and we met in college, and then just kind of lost touch, just like most college friends do. And the glory of Facebook is you can catch up with old college friends, and I noticed that he was posting motorcycles on his Facebook that had upside-down front forks on these old bikes, and I had to ask, where'd you get that? Who did that? And John's like, oh, I did that. I'm like, no, you didn't know. Who did that? And he's like, no, really, you should come over. And so motorcycles brought us back together.
Classified is certainly not a big company at this point. We actually do have a plan. We want it to be big one day. I think our brand looks bigger than we are, and I'm not apologetic about it, and I certainly never try to make it seem like we're anywhere other than in my garage. We just put all our stuff out into the social media space and just see what people think of it. I noticed that this person, Katie Sackhoff, was following me on Twitter. I'm like, wow, she looks like she's like a movie star or something.
The biggest break that I had was Battlestar Galactica, and it was like this quintessential, strong, tough, tomboy. And I got a little typecast as, the girl who will beat up the boys. And now I'm on a show called Longmire.
What did I tell you?
What the hell? I was watching CNN and I saw this story about this guy who basically left his job and was like, screw it, I'm gonna do this. And I was so inspired and I thought it was so amazing. So I looked him up and then I started following him on Twitter. I stalked him.
I sent her a message on Twitter and said, what did you think about us building you a bike? She said, yeah, so here we are.
Pitfalls of building for a celebrity, I'd say, if something goes wrong, everyone will know that who did it.
You sell your bike to Joe Schmo and it breaks down, nobody really notices. You sell your bike to Katie Sackhoff and it breaks down in the middle of Hollywood somewhere, everybody's gonna see it. So make sure your is tight. Sorry.
After the break, hits the fan as trade secrets are leaked on a Hollywood starlet's bill.
All right.
And there's just a frame. And I was like, well, what did you even need a bike for?
Later, Grey Dog gets a crash course in making Moto Guzzi stick.
The frame is probably the smallest frame in vintage motorcycles.
We gotta make it work.
Yeah, make it work now. Wow.
Working from a small garage in his backyard, John Ryland's social media persona captured the attention of actress Katie Sackhoff.
I wanted a motorcycle that rode differently than my Harley and my dirt bike, and something that's just a bit smaller and zippy than a big, Harley Davidson motorcycle.
She told us she has other dirt bikes and things like that, so she's legit. She's not just somebody who's posing on a motorcycle, so that's really fun. I guess, first of all, it's nice meeting you, finally. I feel like we've tweeted and emailed and everything else.
It does seem kind of weird, because I seem like I've met you before at this point. So
yeah.
We've been, exchanging Twitters for so long, or tweets, as you will.
I just saw that, you posted something about one of the bikes that we built a while back, just tweeted it.
When I saw the bike build that you guys had done, it kind of it opened up my eyes to a whole nother area of motorcycles, actually.
Oh, that's awesome. So I was like, well, maybe she would like one like that. So that's kind of what we're planning.
Yeah, this is amazing. I'm really excited to, to see what you come up with. And, but you actually have to, do something first. You actually have to, go, build me a bike.
Finally, some nice weather.
Yeah, but I think they're calling for rain soon.
All right, we got to get started on this thing. We can do anything we want to. Where do you want to start?
How about your neighbor's garage? Let's take a look, man.
We ran out of space in this one little garage, so I talked to my neighbor next door. She's a single mom. She hates cutting her grass and doing stuff like that. So I just said, how would you like it if you never had to mow your grass again? And she's like, I would love it. Why? And I told her, I was like, if you let us use your empty garage to store our bikes, then just never have to worry about your grass.
Well, you still got a lot of bikes over here, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff over here. I thought about this one maybe, but I feel like it's just a little too nice to chop it up so much. Old Triumph.
How about the Moto Guzzi? That's newer.
Yeah, it's kind of huge though. I don't know. I really don't see it over here. I think let's go on next door to the little junkyard.
Behind the garage?
Yeah, let's go. All right, Greg. I know you thought that I was finally going to do something with the Interceptor, but I actually have a different idea. This right here, the Honda 600R.
I mean, it's, not a cafe bike.
It's not a cafe racer, Greg, but you just have to have a vision.
All right, let's do it.
I think it's a strange choice of bike, you know? But at the same time, I mean, you can make anything awesome. It's just all what you're gonna put into it.
Big single's great for a woman. I mean, they're lightweight. They're a lot of fun to ride. It could be an interesting build, actually.
I'm still thinking we should go with the Norton. Is it too late?
When we got the donor bike for this project, I really wanted to do a big single-cylinder bike. Greg, how much water is supposed to be in the headlight?
At least halfway up.
Even though it had been neglected, it looked like it hadn't been ridden all that hard, so we thought it had potential.
If a bike sits for a long time, usually if you can just clean the carburetors and put a fresh battery in it, put a plug in it, usually they come back to life.
Once we get the front end on it and once we get the swing arm on it, it'll look completely different. It'll sit probably about 5 or 6 inches lower, maybe 7 inches lower. And at that point, it will not look like a dirt bike anymore.
I don't think that's gonna go past.
All right, I'm gonna cut it off.
Take it like that. All right, now put it back on. John and I work together well because of our personalities. We joke around a lot. We spend long hours together often, and we work hard.
Yeah.
I never question John. When he has a vision, I do what he tells me to do, and it comes together.
I like taking a bike, turning it into something we really like and would want to ride and have fun on. Katie's been amazing in letting us do exactly what we want to do. I hope she likes it.
So I'm sitting there kind of envisioning what he's gonna do with it, and then all of a sudden I get a photo and there's just a frame. And I was like, well, what did you even need a bike for? I don't even, okay. He literally went in his backyard and was like, that'll do.
After the break, Grey Dog Moto's Italian Stallion goes down to nuts and bolts in their quest for passing lane performance.
That little tiny piece is very crucial.
Later, Classified Moto turns their Honda dual-purpose bike into one built with only one thing in mind: speed.
Holy crap! This is gonna be crazy.